Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Women's Maximum Fitness Podcast. My guest today is IFBB Pro, Kira Neuman. My first introduction to Kira was taking my daughter to the Wings of Strength Chicago Pro 2015 and watching her win, and then going on to place second at the Olympia, going glute to glute with with Juliana. That was a really awesome, awesome matchup. So we'll talk about all that stuff. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is it cold down there? Are you snowing?
Are you in Michigan?
Yeah.
Yes, you're in Michigan. No, it's not snowing, but yeah, it's cold, but it's sunny.
Yeah.
So it's not too I think it's in the 40s, so it's not terribly bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. Are you getting snow or something?
We've got a little bit of snow, but we've had such a mild winter. I'm actually pretty pleased about it, just because I hate driving in it. I just hate driving.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine. Like we get such random snow, and you never know what you're gonna get here. So I can't say that it's always been that bad, but yeah, when we get a lot of snow, nobody knows how to deal with it. So that's We don't
are you in Indiana? You're in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just we always make jokes that it's bipolar, because some winters we'll get a ton of snow, and some we just won't get anything. And then and because of that, people just don't know how to deal with it. So it's kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, we've had hardly any snow. It's been pretty mild, and I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I would be too. I either want it all or I don't want it at all.
Right. Nope, exactly. So, so let's talk a little bit about, this is kind of my favorite question to start off with, because it sort of sets the base for a lot of female bodybuilders, I feel like. So what is your athletic background? What did you start off with, maybe as a child and in your teenage years?
I was a gymnast when I was little. So for 10 years I did gymnastics, and then not competitively. And then, but it was I don't know, I think I probably did it 3 or 4 times a week, which was as a kid, that was a lot. Yeah. And then I've always grown, I've always been not a swimmer, but we've had a pool. So my family, I grew up always doing something active. And then I did volleyball, basketball, softball, and a little bit of tennis.
Okay. So, wow. So you kind of ran the gamut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull my dogs.
Oh.
I just scared them. Okay.
Nice. So how did you get involved in? So what was the transition to bodybuilding? When did you get started? With that type of training?
Oh, this is such a boring story, but when I went to Ball State, my first year, I'd gone to a show, or it was my second year that I'd seen the show. I went to the show that they have every year. It's just annual amateur thing within Ball State. And I was like, oh, these girls look amazing. I want to look like that. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I kind of just did my own thing and looked stuff up and whatnot. And then I did it the following year, and then I was hooked, but I wasn't as hooked as I needed to be, I guess. You know what I mean? I didn't have I was still kind of learning on my own until I fell into the right gym where everybody there competed. And then they helped guide me. So and then from there on, I really got hooked on it.
So did you start with your first show? Did you do bikini first, or how did you?
Girl, bikini wasn't around. I'm old, okay? Bikini was not around. This was when figure was the 1-piece and the 2-piece.
Oh, wow.
Does that date me? Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm kidding. No, bikini wasn't around. And so I did bodybuilding.
Okay.
No, I did 1-figure show. Sorry. Did 1-figure show with a 1-piece, and then and a 2-piece, and then I did bodybuilding.
What year was that?
Oh Lord, girl, you're gonna make me. Okay, let me think. No, I'm kidding. I think it was 2000. Oh, this is gonna be bad. 2005, 2006, maybe.
Oh wow.
Was it? Because I think something like that. Yeah, I think that's about right. You know what? I should go back and look, because I really don't even remember. But I did you've probably heard the Kentucky Muscle? It's like the big Kentucky show. I did that one as my like very first show. I don't know why. I mean, I had heard of it and I was like, yeah, let's do it,
And did you get your butt kicked, or how'd you do?
I realized I'm not good in heels because I tripped on stage and and I wasn't ready for that, and it was a huge show and that was a learning curve. But honestly, I'm glad I did it now that I think about it, because that's exactly what I needed to see to know that, like, hey, this is not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely. So, okay. So you did your first show, you were guided by people in the gym. Then what happened?
So yeah, and that was also when women's bodybuilding was really popular. You would have like 20 girls per class in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Whereas now, over the years, these past couple of years, it hasn't been like that because they kind of phased it out until recently.
Yeah.
But so then once I did those, I did 3 shows in a row in 1 year in a summer, and then kept learning and like learned what the right things to do were. And my friend helped me get ready. She's a figure pro. She helped me get ready for the junior nationals in 2008. Yeah, so I would have competed like 2006, because I think I took like a year to like actually do what I should have done, is like really diet right and like train harder and do all this stuff. So then 2008 I had to qualify. So I did a couple Indiana shows and then qualified for junior nationals.
So was your beginning training, you didn't know, so that was when you started learning kind of how to actually train? And I know you actually coach people now, so you're pretty well versed with training and obviously been doing it for a long time. What were some of the mistakes that you had made starting out? Like, what kind of split were you doing, or what were some of the things you were doing in the gym?
I would say probably, well, you know what? I'm sure there were mistakes, but I feel like I've always had a really good like group of people that helped me, like a good mentorship. Now, when I was at Ball State, I was kind of, just like picking things apart and I think just probably training everything every day or whatever and doing my cardio. And, the diet was like I would eat yogurt and like, I don't remember, to me, that was like the healthy thing. So I think diet mistakes were big, but the training, I think I actually kind of had a good step up on, because I had such like good mentorship around me. And I actually got into, after the first couple shows, I got into powerlifting. And so like I was able to just like pack on muscle like pretty quickly because of that.
Yeah.
And that was probably, so fortunately, I don't think I ever really made, I don't want to say I didn't make mistakes with it, but I know, I'm sure I did, but I definitely was fortunate enough to get into right away, like get into people that, knew what they were doing.
I think the cool thing about people who have a powerlifting background is they tend to learn really good form and technique.
Because did you do powerlifting or something? I think.
No, but I did go to, my gym had a lot of bodybuilders. I would say the mistakes that I made first on were more like, volume was really high, which I think when you start off, I think volume tends to be higher because you haven't really learned the intensity of it yet. So and you can handle it more when you're starting. Like if I did the volume now that I did then, you'd peter out
when we were younger.
Right? Hurt yourself, or you would just like be so fatigued halfway through, you would die, know, because you don't match
you can handle so much more. You weren't afraid of getting hurt. I know what you mean. That was
and I think like my contractions, my reps were a lot really faster. It was you know what I mean, like there was less mind muscle, less connection with the actual muscle.
Right. That's true.
To like,
you learn that like there's more to it than just like 8 to 10 reps. I think that was, I wouldn't say that was like a mistake, but I learned like, hey, you can do 25 leg extensions or something, and it really sucks. And it really works. So I think I learned that pretty quickly, you know, that think outside the box.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned that, yeah, like if you don't really like put your mind, if you just go through the motions, like,
Yeah.
what's the point? So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is definitely a huge mistake that I probably started with
Yeah.
and then learned better along the way.
Yeah. Which I don't know if it's exactly a mistake, because you can't
Right.
learn how to connect with a muscle right away. So you have to kind of
Hmm.
keep poking at it for it to feel what's going on. So it is a process. But and then the other thing, I was very much I had a very much of a bro split, which was just popular when I started 2010, 2011. Um, you know, I tend to do more of a push-pull legs now at this point, but I mean, people do still do the bro splits, but
What's the bro split?
like
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I'm like, okay, what?
when you do a different body, so usually it was like you would do like legs,
Yeah.
chest, shoulders, legs.
Oh, I did that too then.
Yeah.
Is that what it's
So,
called?
yeah, but no, but it does work for a lot of people too.
Mhm. Yeah.
It works both ways. I just say, like, when somebody is, it's more of an advanced style of training, honestly.
Mhm. Yeah, because you're having to put more days in and
Yeah.
having to like learn how to recover quicker, I think.
And
Or
you're
yeah.
targeting individual muscles versus
Mhm.
groups, like, because when you're new, obviously with all that volume, you could get away with training things more often. So I think newbies should be doing like upper lower for the most
Right.
part, or even
That's usually what I start with somebody who's never worked out, because I always say like I spread the wealth of pain basically, because I don't want you to just be sore in one area.
yeah.
So yeah, I think definitely
Yeah.
yeah, that bro split, I think that's more advanced too, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. You see a lot of the, especially you know, pro level bodybuilders, guys will train 4 days a week and they do, you know, back, chest, shoulders, legs, or something like that, you know.
Right. And
So
yeah, there's a lot I'll even do. I mean, even now, like I love doing legs. That's probably my favorite thing to do.
yeah.
Always has been. But like I'll do that like sometimes too, depending on, you know, what I'm doing. Sometimes three, like when I get ready for shows, like I would do it sometimes 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Because I could recover too. Like I was, you know, careful about that. But yeah.
Yeah.
There are certain body parts that you train like a couple times a week. You need extra work.
Your dog. But if you try to train hamstrings, glutes, and quads in one leg workout, that's a lot to try. It's a lot. It so it works out better to divide it up, I think.
Yeah, that's what I would like. So I would do like a leg or a hamstring day, a quad focus day, and then the third day may like be a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Or just like glutes or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or maybe isolation instead of putting in the bigger compound lifts. So
right.
There's a million different ways to train. I'm just always curious how people got started.
I think that's the number one thing is like there's no one way.
No.
Of splitting it up, and that's what people always ask me. And I'm like, well, you know, what's your schedule like? What do you like to do more than anything? And what is going to be something that's going to motivate you? Like, what is practical for you? So.
Yeah, because if you're not trying to get into competing, it doesn't matter if you don't want to lift, you know, chest, or you know what I'm saying? Like you can work around those types of things, still getting push exercises in without actually training chest, so that you still have muscle balance versus aesthetics, you know. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you how you keep saying you're old. How old are you?
I am 39.
Oh, so you actually, I mean, I'll be 45 soon, so you know.
Well, I never would have thought that.
It's trust me, well, you know what, this is funny because you're coming up on this age, and I noticed like the biggest shift in just once you hit 40, like 41.
I was saying once you hit 30, but now I'm going to be saying once you hit 40.
Yes.
Yeah, things don't work the same.
It's just, you know, one of the things is that I really want to have John Meadows on here to talk about training for longevity, because I do feel like
Mhm.
you have to adjust your training now. Like
Yeah.
I'm learning, in the last couple of years, learned a lot more about training intensity, but now it's
Mhm.
okay, but actually going to failure that much is not
Right.
good for an aging body,
And also you have to do, I'm learning more and more, like you have to do the outside work of like mobility and
Yeah.
flexing, or flexibility and like stretching and learning how to move in ways without weights that will
Yeah.
help benefit you.
Recovery.
So it's
Yeah.
hard. Yeah,
It-
the recovery part of it. Like you can't do, constantly do heavy weights all the time and not
mm-mm.
have aches and pains and not
Yeah.
do something and not take care of it. So now, we've made sure that we're like doing, regular massages, because we're always lifting weights anyway, working, owning a gym, and training people. But then like on top of that, we got to be able to work our own bodies in order to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the whole longevity part, yeah, the whole part of like, flexibility and mobility is important too.
Yeah, and that's what I have noticed shifting in the last couple of years, because and
Mhm.
people keep asking me if I'm going to compete again, and
Mhm.
the toll it takes to compete, and I can't, and it's like now I'm trying to figure out what my style of training is and what it would
Right.
be through competing.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, do you just kind of, because and you see the people that try to keep pushing it, and
Mhm.
um
And you're like, why?
yeah, it's like, and they slip further and further in the
Right.
placing, and you're like, just, like
Just
I
give it
even,
up.
yeah, like even
I
with,
mean,
Shanique with her, calling it quits this year,
mhm.
wanting to start, I think she wants to start a family and everything else. And it's just
Yeah.
like, she made her mark. I mean,
Right.
seriously.
Exactly. And that's how I felt too. I was like, I've done what I needed to do, or felt like and not even needed to, because it wasn't like I ever needed to do it. I
Yeah.
did what I wanted to do. And, you know, when I knew when my time was done, because it was like, okay, everything around me is looking like this. I can either try to go that route, or I can be practical and just say, I did what I wanted to. And then when you get done, like, what is your style of training? What is your goal? Because for competitors, as you know, it's like all or nothing. We're
Yeah.
typically all or nothing. So it's
You're
hard.
doing your grow phase, then you're getting ready for a show, and you're cutting for a show, and
There's
it's just,
always something. Yeah.
yeah. And now it's like,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
where I am now, especially, with this past year too. It's like,
Mhm.
what is maintenance going to look like for the rest of my
Mhm.
life? And,
Yeah.
like you said, the recovery, the stretching, the foam rolling, the massage, the deep tissue work, I got to get dry needling, because I
Yeah.
got a little nagging, whatever. Now I got to redesign my training program, because I can't use this exercise anymore, 'cause it's just causing too much, this, that, or whatever. So it's just,
Right. And you're always like consciously aware of like, that could really hurt this time.
right.
If I go down, I can come back up. And I could like, I'm always thinking like that too. And confidence is 100, well, not 100, but it's 90% of lifting, because if you're afraid to do it, that's when you get hurt,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to find that like balance, as far like, once you get older and once you are, done competing, or
Yeah.
it's like, where do you take it now? Do you like just go do yoga, or, that's probably not going to like stimulate you. You're not going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
So like, how do you find that right plan, I guess?
Yeah. Like, I don't want to give up lifting, but I know, like, there's certain things I
Right.
can't, I have a torn meniscus, and my other shoulder has been bothering me. And it's kind of like, you
Mhm.
have to eliminate doing stuff. And I definitely want to get more into yoga, because I feel like for longevity, it's really good
Right.
for you.
Yep.
But even
Yeah.
that, just like, how do I work that in? Because I don't want to give up training, So
Right.
but then you're just adding all these things to your list of stuff you have to do.
And then you're like, oh my God, like, then you get overwhelmed and you're like, what do I
Yeah.
do? And then yeah, I know. I had this conversation with clients. I'm like, if you try to do all these things, you're going to end up getting overwhelmed, and then you're going to get frustrated.
Yeah. And then you'll drop it all because you just,
Yeah. Because you'll be like, screw it, I'm done. It's too much to think about. Yeah. No.
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Well, and you also get anxiety because if you miss something, then you're behind and you're like, do I play catch up or do I, it's a constant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. It's hard. It's always a challenge.
So do you feel like, because I look at your competition history and I just think, obviously 2015 was probably your highlight. Yeah.
For sure.
And you made it to the Olympia four more times, right?
Yeah, so I did it 2015, 16, 17, 18. So a total of 4 times.
Yeah. What do you think was like, because you were still top 5 up until the end in your placing flip. So what do you think?
I'll be the first to say that I'm super inconsistent. Like I just am, because and well, 15, 16, 17 were good. Like the way that, not even just my placings, but the way my look and everything was like consistent.
Yeah.
However, then I went and tried to do the Arnold, like 2016, and it was not good. And then the same thing in 2017, I think, or 6, I don't remember. I did it again. And the same thing. I mean, I placed 4th, but I didn't look that great, I didn't think. So,
okay.
But I looked better at the Olympia that time before, like a couple months before. So that's my thing, is like, I'm not consistent because I do fall off the wagon. I'm like, oh my God, I am that girl that struggles with that.
So is the struggle the diet, or is the struggle with the
diet?
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I know, because I competed 3 times, and after, it just was like a constant. Food has always been my albatross. You know what I mean? Like, I love the training, but who likes to,
eat fish and green beans all day? I mean, I do to some degree, but like, then I'm like, okay, I'm done. And so yeah, I get it. Like, so that's why, like I said, I'm inconsistent, and it's because of the diet. Now in 2015, when I did 3 shows, I did Chicago, and then 2 weeks later did the Prestige Crystal Cup, and then went to the Olympia. I remember thinking, oh shit, I have to diet even longer when I won. But because I'm like good for the very first one, I'm like all in. And then after that, I kind of just like, I do struggle. But that year, it worked somehow. I got my body, I had dieted so long and got my body so conditioned to that like, I was able to just I was able to keep doing it, but that was definitely my best year, the best that I feel I ever looked. And I was able to maintain it.
Yeah. So do you feel like are you done at this point? You think you're, you're like, oh, absolutely. Well, it's funny because Christina Bittner was on, a few weeks ago, and she was like, you were her inspiration. She said, just a lot of motivation.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
The first connection, I think, was you both had the side shave. That's what she said. She was like, "Ooh, we have this in common." But I forgot where I was going with that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, was she saying that she's done competing, or?
No, but she was saying, we were talking about you, and I said I haven't seen any activity, really a lot of activity fitness wise on your social media, and and I think that's okay. I think if anything, past year had taught us, it was that. I said this on the last podcast I did too with Missy Trescott. I said, I think this year is going to show us people who are on the brink of retiring that it's time
I think, you're onto something.
It was what else do I want to do with my life? Because you don't know, are you going to be a Ronnie Coleman, or are you going to be a Jay Cutler? You don't know how you're going to end up after all this.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, like, my little dog.
Got your puppies?
Yes.
They're all
He
pink.
wants,
You got.
he wants to constantly play. Sorry. So the reason like that I haven't really, okay. One of the, this will explain all. It's not like, it's not dramatic by any means. But, you know, after 12 years competing, going into the 2018 Olympia, I kind of knew that I was going to be done, you know. I was like, I'm tired, I'm getting older, I've done this for a long time, like I've done enough to my body. So I kind of, in the back of my mind, knew that was going to be it. Also, this, you mentioned social media. It became, for me anyway, I was like, I'm too old to be trying to be popular again. Okay. You know, like that's what it felt like. Like I was constantly trying to like keep up with everybody else and, you know, and post some witty shit. And I'm like, I just, and that became like a huge focus. And I was like, man, I'm wasting way too much time doing this. So, you know, that was a lot of like all those realizations coming together. And it was like, I need a break. I don't need to do it anymore. I'm content.
Yeah.
I'm very content. And I don't, like I said, more than anything, it was like, I felt like I was trying to be most popular or like the most well-liked or come up with the most witty, you know, things to say. Yeah. And after a while, I'm like, I don't have any inspiration to give y'all. I'm not going to just do that. I'm not just going to throw it out there. Like, so yeah, so that's why like I haven't really been on it any much. Yeah. I'm just, I don't know what I want to say. I just, you know, and then also just, yeah, the whole, I mean, I don't have any animosity. I mean, no bad feelings or anything at all. I just, I just got kind of like burn out really. Yeah. Bottom line.
I don't think it's funny because I just watched a video Gary V had put out and he was like, you know, some girl was saying that she did something for a year. She's like, am I burnt out? And he's like, no, you're done with it. You got what you wanted out of it. And now you're moving on. And I don't think that really resonated with me too. Cause I feel like, regardless of, and I'm not going to get into this, but regardless of if you go the natural or the drug route, I think whatever it is, you have about a 10-year window with competing. And
yeah, for sure.
I started training pretty hard in 2000 and end of 2010, and here we are, 2020. You know what I mean? Like, you know, now it's a matter of how long do I want to live and do I want to be healthy? You know?
Yeah. You start like when you first start, you're like, I'm gonna do what it takes to get there.
Right.
And have that attitude, and I know I had that attitude, and because I was in my 20s, and I was just like gung ho. I had that passion, I had that drive. After a while, you just kind of go, well, you know, what is it? Like you just mature. Your process of thinking matures, and the way that you look at the sport matures. In a healthier way. I would say that my attitude toward it was a lot healthier, and I was able to prioritize a lot better, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, and that was kind of with me too. I got more, it just was like, okay, I did this, I competed, I had an amazing, you know, local win. My daughter was cheering me on. And then it was just kind of like, just loving and appreciating the sport. It's kind of, you know, why I wanted to do this podcast, because I wanted to put personalities and, you know, faces to the competitors that I admire. You know, but I mean, as far as social media goes too, I mean, honestly, it's ridiculous. Like,
it can make or break you really. Cause you know, when I started, there was no, I think maybe MySpace was around, but it wasn't like, that wasn't the focus. And that wasn't, and because like even now people will, one, love to give you their opinions whether you want it or not, and two, which I've never cared, that never bothered me, it always made me giggle, but like also now people are like, they feel like they have to, you know, do certain things, or you know, it just gets like the lines get blurred, and you just you're like, okay, did that person win because they're popular on social media? And you know, you get that talk, and you're like, well, thanks for devaluing me. But so I think that's, I think we were able, like you and I at that time, we were able, like starting out, we were able to kind of like not be jaded yet. You know what I mean? And then,
well, because you have so many people, especially, I mean, male and female, but they, it's a job being on social media. you know, and like the crap I get is like, you know, I know you have to post a picture in order to say something, but I would rather say something. So I don't really give two shits about the picture so much. And it's
Right.
like, people will be like, why do you always have the same picture? It's like, because I'm not going to hire a photographer to go out in the woods, you know, in my, like, you know, whatever.
In the
It's like,
woods.
this isn't,
In the
you
creepy
know,
woods.
yeah.
No, I know. Yeah. And
So,
also like, that's like, I realize like I'm focusing on trying to like perfect this thing and try to perfect a fucking selfie. So I'm like, this is just kind of, again, more than anything, it was like, I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis. Like I'm too old to be doing this. And that was like where, that was kind of, all those realizations. I was like, I'm wasting more time trying to figure that out. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, it's like, it's so enlightening. I mean, I've said this before where, you know, I've had people like troll me or whatever, and I'd be like, this guy is 62 years old. I'm like, I said, Anna, if I am 62 and on freaking Instagram, shoot me. I'm like, shoot.
I know.
I'm like, I'm gonna be in a treehouse somewhere in Montana, like where there is no Wi-Fi. Like, are you kidding?
In those woods. You get in those woods then, okay?
And I'll have tons of pictures. No. And they'll be in a book on my coffee table, not on my phone.
Exactly. I know. I'm always like, man, I think I'm too old to be doing TikTok. I'm like, because I would like scroll through it and I'm like, because I'm too old for this. You know, I always like check my age. And I'm like, but I also don't have time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not the time that I wanted to devote for me personally.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I know that was kind of, you know, so I mean, it's same. Competing is more than likely off the table for me. And I was like, where do I want to go? And I really like the idea. I mean, I have been putting the podcasts on YouTube, but podcasts are great because you don't get troll. You don't get people. It's like you get to speak. You don't get people troll commenting, you know, what you're putting
you just
out
get
there.
what you get the good positive, like, here's what I want, and, you know, and that's it. That's what I love about it too. And like, you can take these anywhere, you know. So I think it's great that you're doing this. It's awesome.
Yeah. And there'll be less about me, which again is what less of me on social media. I don't, you know, well, and this is something I had talked about a couple of podcasts ago too, that how it, like, people, you know, if you're competing, you find a settling point. So you probably lose muscle or you get a little bit chubbier or however your body decides to settle. And, you know, and we age, and it's like, women are allowed to age. That's why there are, you know, and not that there's, you know, you do whatever you want to do, but, you know, people are shoving all the stuff in their face and everything else because, you know, you got to look pretty for, you know, the pictures. And it's
and that's like that's such like the expectation, or like whatever people feel like they have to do. So
right, exactly. You know, I mean, look at freaking Betty White, man, 99. She looks bomb still.
I can't believe she's that old. I'm kind of like, I think I saw that the other day and I was like, oh, I'm kind of worried about her. I don't want her to like go anytime soon. You know, she's so great, but I wonder how she feels. She's probably like, I'm ready to be done with this shit.
I know. When my grandma she died 2 weeks before she was 97. And
my grandma lived to 97. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. And my grandpa died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma 20 years prior to her dying. And it was like within about 2 years, every year on her birthday, she just was like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. You know, like all she wanted was, you know, to be with my grandpa. So
it's so weird to think about, but yeah.
Well, and if you look at a picture of somebody like Betty White and you're like, I'm gonna be that person someday. I think that's what about 40 taught me, because it was like, you really start to see the aging happening to your body. And like, holy cow,
you're more aware because you're like, oh God, now I'm 40. So like, you look at things, you're like, oh.
All my 30s, I was just like, man, I'm killing it. And now it's just like, okay, like, it's hard to lose weight, and I like to eat sugar.
Oh God, me too. That's my downfall too. It's like, I don't eat just one or two of something.
So So I guess I don't need to ask you if you cheated on your diets for your prep.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh I mean, I wouldn't say, all, I mean, I would have like planned, cheats, but then, I would here and there, like but I tried to remind myself, like, okay, if I'm doing this all the time, there's no point,
Yeah.
that's the diet is part of it. And then also, like, I would try to only do that if my body was like, just, like just feeling awful. Like if my blood sugar would drop or whatever, like I really was pretty good about staying consistent.
Yeah.
For that show.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
it was like the in-between stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you looked incredible. You didn't look like somebody who was cheating on your diet, but you can see the difference between when you were on for the stage or when you were off a little bit.
Right, exactly. And that's why I say, like, I was very inconsistent, because I would be like gung-ho for the first one. And then if I had a show like a couple, months later or something, it was that was the struggle. That was really hard for me.
Yeah. Well, it's a long time to be dieting and your body is like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you're good for that one. And then, you're like mentally, it's very, so all these people that are able, all these girls that are able to do show after show, I don't know how they do it, but.
Well, no, that's all that first year I competed in 2014 and I did 3 shows over that 6-month period of time. And that's what it was. I was like, I'm never doing this again, especially as a natural athlete trying to hold on. I ended up being like sort of skinny soft by the last show. It was just so bad. Like you can't hold on to that muscle dieting.
It's you feel awful.
Yeah.
And when people are like, oh, you should, they look at you like, oh, you really should, like, take a break. And then you kind of realize, yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
People notice how badly you're struggling.
Yeah. That's more so what I don't like about dieting is the fatigue that you feel, and then lifting is fun, and that's the part you like.
It's such a weird, it's such a different feeling of like being fatigued. It's like just, you kind of get used to it, but then it can get hard. Uncomfortable.
So, I mean, I think it's really cool though that you accomplished, like, I can have that picture of you on stage and you're, and then obviously you came and did the posing, the guest posing.
I'm not good at that. I found out I'm really not good at that at all.
No, you are. You're posing, and your posing is beautiful. Your posing is beautiful.
Thank you. But I'm really bad about planning. I'm like, I'll start planning it and then I'm like, wait a minute. And then I end up like just kind of winging it because I feel like I'm almost better at that, but then I'm not. I don't know. So
no, I think this is my opinion. I don't plan out a routine because it's harder for me to remember something than it is for me to find a good song and work on my transitions, and I can just move to the song.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too.
Yeah,
I realize that.
It's easier. You find a song you really love, and it sort of you, and you don't have to.
Then you're like, not like, oh, I just missed that step. Oh shoot, what am I gonna do?
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And that was kind of like always my mentality is like, I'm better at not planning something because I'll screw it up or not remember.
Yeah, it is. It's more anxiety to try to remember. And then if you you mess up, you're like, I don't know what to do now. So like staring at the bucket light.
Yeah. Being in the audience, like you're like, oh, that awkward feel of like, oh, I feel so bad for her or whatever,
right?
Yeah. Like, oh, it's so bad. Yeah.
It's got to be the equivalent of tripping on heels when you're walking across stage.
Sort of,
That's awesome. So, how were things for you during the lockdown? You guys got locked down pretty good too, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, we're a private small gym, so like we were
you kept
we locked down. We definitely closed. It wasn't. We're not, disrespectful like that, but you know, we did allow like a couple clients to come in, you know, the ones that they do work from home, they're only staying home and that kind of thing. But yeah, no, it was rough. But what I mean, I always look at it like, well, we're not the only ones, so we
Yeah.
just have to get through it. So, but it wasn't. We were able to work out, which is unfortunate for that, you know. And that was everybody's sanity. It's like that was the number one complaint. Like, I want to be able to work out, you know. And fortunately, we were able to. So I can't really complain.
I think that's the biggest thing people don't realize when you have been your whole life and then you actually getting involved in bodybuilding. That was the hardest part for me with the pandemic. Was I'm like, you took away my only really mental outlet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It sucks that you're like, okay, I never really figured out an alternative for this in my life, and now
you never had to.
Be sad,
right?
You know?
We were having to get creative with, like, you know, random things at home, or no, it was everybody was saying the same thing. They're like, you know, this is my sanity. This is what I love to do. You know, that was the hard part, is having to tell people, no, we really cannot open. So no.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with, again, being older and more mature too, because when you're younger, you're like, oh, well, I can still, I mean, a lot of the people I knew, even during lockdown, were going out. Younger kids were still meeting up with their friends and whatnot. So
because they think, you know, and I was like that too, like invincible. They're like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to me, you know.
So other outlets, you do more, you have more variety in your life when you're younger. When you're older, you're like, I do this, I go to the gym, I go to the grocery store, I go to church on Sunday, and that's all.
Or I can sleep in and be a little lazier now because I don't give a shit. But it was like that attitude too. So I mean, I think definitely develop a more what's important kind of mentality. What's more important than, you know, or what do you value? What's the outcome here? What do we want? Kind of attitude, instead of just like in the moment.
I'm so glad I got to catch up with you, because I just love this. This is kind of a like just like official sort of retirement and hearing it for real. And
I never like said anything because I'm not that person to be like, okay, here's my you know, official statement, because I mean, it wasn't like I was, you know, crowned Miss Olympia year after year. So if I don't come back, I don't think anybody's gonna see me or miss me, or, you know. So I never. I'm not that type. So
but you were definitely one of the women that paved the way, especially with women's physique. And it's really interesting. Hello. It's really interesting to like, I forgot now, but now that you had said it, that you had started off with bodybuilding. And
that's where I got my pro card, was in Atlanta at National 2012, I think, as a light heavyweight bodybuilder, believe it or not. And I was probably the smallest, and Margie, why do I forget her last name?
Marvelous.
I think that's what that's the only thing. So she was actually in my weight class, and a couple other girls that you probably know, and I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but there was like 12 girls in our class. That, like I said, so that was when women's bodybuilding was still being like accepted. And so girls were like still getting into like those classes, and they were bigger classes than just having like one or two. So I was actually probably the smallest size wise and weight wise. Like I was at the bottom of the weight class, and I was like, oh crap. But it worked out well. So I guess in my saying that, it's like, you don't have to be the biggest one, is kind of what I took, took from that, and explain to people, like, you don't have to be the biggest one. It's just, so I think moving forward, that was always my, advice to people, is like, just the aesthetics. It's the aesthetics. Don't just think like big. But so that was bodybuilding.
And you were so complete, obviously with the glutes, that they were really, the slight striation that people really liked when about 3 years into 2-3 years into Women's Physique came out. But so do you I was going to ask you what what did you weigh that? And people don't know how tall you are. 5'1"?
I'm 5'3".
Oh, 5'3". Okay.
I
Okay.
think. I don't know. I'm like I thought it was 5'2", 5'2", 5'3", something
Okay.
like that.
So did you have to downsize from bodybuilding to women's physique then? No.
No, not at all. Because I wasn't like the big
Big.
one.
No.
So but also like it at that time, like, yeah, because I wasn't so big, like I just fit right into it.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought too I'd have to downside, but no, not at all.
And then what's funny, I want to ask your opinion about this, because then the girls just kept getting bigger. Once
Yeah.
Juliana was out and Shanique was in,
Mm-hmm.
then you had like Misha Valentina, which I think she does women's bodybuilding now.
She's not small. And also it's your structure too, because if you can like look a certain way and it makes you look bigger than what you really are. Like if you're taller, or you have wider waist, it will make you look more muscular. But yeah, she also gets like super like conditioned.
Yeah.
So I think that will of course also make you look. It's so weird because I mean, even though like that in 2015, like I was conditioned, I was lean, but like I've been leaner. Like in 2017, I was even leaner. So it's like I feel like I looked better in 2015, like more filled out, but also like that right conditioning. So it's kind of it's so hard to like. But the natural evolution of the sport is like this. So it's not really a surprise to me that everybody's getting bigger, because that's the thing. Like, what do you do? Like when you are going to go compete, it's not like you're training in the off season. It's like, okay, I'm going to keep putting on muscle, keep putting on, more, like adding weight to the deadlifts or whatever, and lifting heavier. Like that is going to come, that eventually just happens. And then once everybody's doing that, then that's what the whole group looks like. So I'm not surprised, because when the first Olympia for women's physique, I was looking at those pictures the other day, and so different. Different.
Yeah. Well, that's when, when I was first, I was like, oh, I could do this. And I'm like,
it's attainable.
I wanted, I thought, oh, this is what you got Dana Lynn Bailey, who's, she and Juliana were both under 120 pounds on stage, it's like,
and you're like, oh, wow. You're like, how? I mean, because in my mind, like 120 pounds is like, that's light. Because I think I would weigh anywhere from like 130 to 135, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, and on 5'3", that's a lot of muscle. That's a lot of muscle on your weight.
Yeah.
But when you got girls who are, 160, 150,
shredded. Yeah,
and
it makes a difference. Yeah, it's I would say like you don't know what it's going to look like, because everybody, every height, it all looks different on everybody. Like what my just right conditioning looked like in 2015, like that to me was like perfect for me. Like that's what I feel like I looked the best at. And I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't even the leanest. But then a couple of years later, I was like so lean, so hard, and I didn't like it as well. But that was the end result, and it was, I wasn't as like filled out, but I was still shredded. I don't know. It's just such a like a it's so weird.
I think now the 2-3 weeks out look on a lot of these girls before they step on stage, it's just so much fuller, because they can get to looking really stringy.
Right.
And
that's how I feel too. And I think they deplete so much that when you try to then come back from that, then it's harder.
Yeah.
And you can't fill out. Yeah. So that happens too.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And now I love that women's bodybuilding is coming back. I love it. And the girls that are in it now they're beautiful. And I feel like but I feel like it's going to have a trickle down effect with the other, so maybe I don't honestly know. I mean, I know what I read, but I couldn't understand really what Sarah Vegas had over Shanique, why they, I don't, people,
I think it was her. I will say, like, in some pictures, I do think that she looked a lot better. I do. Because I think that Shanique wasn't as conditioned as she has been in the past. And
yeah,
I think she just needed to be a little bit sharper
yeah,
for her to look her best. You know what I mean? And I think, I don't know, but I think Sarah, yeah, just because I don't like, some people are like, oh, her back is better. I'm like, I don't think so personally.
yeah.
But
No, I do.
yeah, I don't. It's kind of hard. I know a lot of people were like really pissed off about that, but whatever. I do think though that Sarah was just a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of. That's why they picked
Well,
her, maybe.
and my only critique of or maybe criticism of Shanique would be
Mhm.
that when she gets leaner, her arms look more spindly because they're long. So she's got
Yeah.
a higher tricep insertion, and she doesn't have, so her elbows look bonier, and she's, so when you got a front and a back double bicep and your arms aren't really shining anymore, I mean, that's a
Mhm. That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, huge part of women's physique. So Sarah just had the fuller
Yeah.
biceps,
Right.
while being maybe more conditioned. It's tough because I think Shanique was her figure,
hmm
because she does this pose and the figure pose, because her waist is so tiny, that's really
Yeah.
her shining pose,
Yeah.
but that's not even a women's physique pose, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think, I don't know. It was a hard, because even last year I was like, oh man, that girl really kind of like, push Shanique a little bit. But I think,
Yeah.
I don't. It's definitely hard. A lot of people said, of course, like, oh, Shanique's attitude is what got her second place. Yada yada.
I don't
Whatever.
even
I
know.
don't know.
I've never
Yeah.
had an issue with, I've met her before.
hmm
She's also been through a lot of crap. And so
hmm
women who have endured a lot of stuff when they're younger tend to be pretty snap with, I mean, I know
hmm
this. I've been the same way, it's
Yeah.
like you tend to react to things a little bit more. And I mean,
hmm
I feel like I
Guarded
understand
or
where
yeah.
I understand where she was coming from with that. So I didn't see any of that attitude stuff
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. I don't even know if that's true or not. No, I think it's true that they want to assert, like, a certain representative for the sport, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think she was a bad representative
No,
by
I
any
don't
means.
think that at all.
Yeah, she was. I mean, I still think, I don't know. It's so hard. I love her physique. I don't know. I don't even know who I would have thought. Or
No,
I don't even know who I would have picked for number one. Like,
no, no. And the rest were like,
yeah.
I didn't even know who Sarah was, honestly,
Mhm.
before this. And I think everybody else were all sort of up and comers as well. So it was sort of a
Mhm.
cool new crew.
Yeah, there were quite a few, because like, even because Danny wasn't even in the top five, right? Yeah,
Right.
no, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah.
Danny, yeah, she had been in the top five like the past couple of years, and then you know it's all a comparison game. That's the thing. Like, you can look amazing by yourself, but then once you get up next to certain people,
Yeah.
you may not. So you have to have like an outstanding physique in order to like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And now, I mean, then we'll have another year, and who knows who's
Mhm.
going to be stepping up there.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a turnaround this quick before, where pretty much everybody was just gone and it's all
Yeah.
new, all new people.
Right. Right.
It'll
I
be
think that,
interesting.
yes, it will be. Plus, there wasn't as many shows, and there wasn't as many qualified
Yeah.
athletes too. So that was kind of weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens next year and how many shows are able to happen.
Yeah.
Or this year, I should say.
Yeah. And now they're moving the Arnold to September. And so the Olympia again is going to be in December, probably in Florida. So, who knows how
So
long
yeah, that'll be interesting, because they're closer together.
yeah.
So
So, all right. Well, hey, let's finish up with I'm going to do my 10 questions here for you.
okay.
All right. These are they'll be quick. So, all right. Country
Rapid
music.
fire.
Yeah. Country music or rock music.
Oh, rock.
Yeah.
Oh, country.
Podcasts or YouTube.
Ooh, good one. Oh, probably like both.
Yeah. That's good. All right. I was going to say dogs or cats, but I don't think that's
He's one of 5.
Who is that? Who is that one?
His name is Andy, but we call him Chi Chi. He's actually deaf, so he's
Aww.
fun. Yeah. Oh, he's fun. He's a lot of fun. His whole like personality is funny. So
Yeah. Animals are great. People who don't, they all have great. I mean, we have 2 bunnies, and they have their personalities too. You wouldn't think of it. You just wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's what people don't realize, or I don't know anything about bunnies or cats or anything. Just basically dogs, and yeah, they're all like, I can tell you, my 5 dogs all totally different.
They're all rescues, right? You have all rescues?
The little Andy Chi, he is.
Yeah.
But the others, no. We have 3 Dogo Argentinos and 1 pit bull.
Okay. Nice.
So,
nice.
They're awesome.
Okay, so baby animals or baby humans?
Oh, animals.
You're like, heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Hike a mountain or swim in an oasis?
Oh, oasis. I'll hike a mountain and swim in an oasis.
Okay. All right. Burgers, pizza, or sushi?
Pizza.
Okay. Cookies or cake?
Combo. Together.
Cookie with the frosting, other cookie. Okay. All right. You already answered this, but legs, back, or shoulders, what do you prefer to train?
Legs.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite, what would you say was the best at helping you get those glutes? What exercises?
$1 million question. Oh man, I don't know. Cause like,
I don't want to know the secret.
It was, well, honestly, it was a surprise to me when it all came together, because I didn't really know, because I coached myself. I didn't know what I necessarily looked like. I wasn't taking a whole lot of progress pictures at that time. So when it all came together, and the reaction that I got from that show, prior to that, I had no idea what I was working with.
So what's back there?
I really didn't. So I couldn't tell you. There wasn't. I mean, I do everything. There's not. And I don't even think I designated like a lot of glute days until after that, but it was just repetition.
Yeah.
Time,
Are you a hip thruster? Do you do barbell hip thrusts?
No.
You don't.
Hell no. I honestly think those are, for me, I don't feel like we're doing anything necessarily. Now, I mean, like, or maybe I'll do like without any weight, because I feel like when I look on Instagram, I see girls doing 200 or 300 pounds with that. I'm kind of like, I'm skeptical, very skeptical. I'm like, how? So for me, like I said, I'll randomly do them, but it's not something I do consistently.
I'm a big fan of the single leg, where you're like 2 benches and you put your foot on, you do a single leg. I just feel like that helps with glute strengthening and a connection, which eventually I guess would lead to a building. But I mean, if you do single leg glute hip thrust, even with body weight like that, I can't get more than 15 reps out before I fail. So
I think if you are really doing it correctly, you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. I'm skeptical of those things now. So I really don't. I really don't know. And like I said, if I do them, I really don't use any weight at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 3 people, one you admire, one who inspires you, and one who motivates you.
Oh, oh my gosh. I would definitely say that my mom probably inspires me,
Okay.
or I admire her. I probably admire and inspire, and she inspires me.
Okay.
Oh God. Oh, my girlfriend definitely motivates me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really. I think that's probably about it. Well, maybe like I think most of my female clients definitely also motivate and inspire me too. Yeah, because I love. Yeah, they get me excited to like actually go to
Yeah.
work. But yeah, I would say yeah, right. Yeah, all those.
I think
All
when you're able to teach and then you see
Mhm.
people learning, there's
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
more motivating than that,
Right.
because then you have
Yeah.
purpose, right?
And they feel like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, so that's probably,
Yeah.
like, oh, cool.
That's a great answer. Okay. So what's been your best moment so far in your life?
We really are going in on this. I don't know.
Best moment?
Not, I don't know that there's any one particular moment.
Okay.
Because there's been many. Many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that
You just have a good life. Too many. Too many.
yeah, I appreciate and enjoy so many things. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. All right. So any like next goals? You got goals for 2021? You're like living. You are so casual. You're just like, whatever.
Teach my dog more sign language.
Oh,
Mhm.
that was one of my goals for 2021. I'm slacking on is I want to learn sign language.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lady at my grocery store who she's deaf and she does sign language. It always makes me think like, I don't know. I just think it's really cool.
It is cool. Because having him, I've had to I've had to learn some at least, but then I'm like, I want to learn, other words and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to, be able to say certain things. And he relies on that so much, so that's why I was like, well, I'll learn other stuff too, because even if I don't need to use that with him, I will, and it gets him to even rely even more on my commands and stuff. So yeah, no, it's a cool, and there's a guy that just joined our gym who's deaf, and I'm like, this is why I need to learn more. So, so I can communicate with them.
Yeah, I think YouTube is like the be all end all for anything you want to learn.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a girl that will do like real quick little videos that I like to watch, and she'll just do like, okay, rude or hungry, and so you can learn a lot from her too. Those short videos are perfect. So
yeah, I think it's always neat when parents do that, like when they have babies, because they can't, before they can talk or whatever. So I'll brag. My daughter was like talking by the time she was 1, so I didn't have to. Yeah, I was just like, okay.
Okay, well, you got this handled. What else now? Yeah, you got life handled.
I honestly, she wasn't really walking until she was 14 months old. So I had the kind of the best of both worlds. I had like a stationary child that would just like talk. I'm like, this is.
Oh, that is kind of perfect. Stationary child.
It's incredible. So yeah. We all have our.
Absolutely. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, this was incredible. It was really, really nice. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I'm glad it worked out too. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you go, but I'll wrap this up and say thanks to Kira Neuman, and just wishing you all the best, whether we see you on social media at all or not. It sounds like you're just, you're teaching and you're just killing it in life, and you know your purpose and you know who you are. And I just think that's somebody who can be a example to anybody, right?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us on the Women's Maximum Fitness podcast. I am Deborah Jean Terpstra here with Kira Neuman, saying to remember that healthy looks different on everybody. Have a great day.